Hi, I'm Robyn Nix, and this is my wife, Brey Willows. We're both authors with Bold Strokes Books, who are the biggest LGBTQ publishers in the world. I'm going to be reading from Uncharted, which is my latest book. It's an adventure romance and features a hero that's kind of like Lara Croft, but with bigger biceps and smaller boobs. And her nemesis stroke colleague is Rayne Marcellus, which is who Brey will be reading for. Chase Stinsen.
Hi, Chase Stinsen.
Think of the devil and she calls. Why did she always address her with her full name? Even Rayne's telephone voice was smooth enough to... To what? Chase pushed the unfinished sentiment away. Have you called to gloat? Because if you have...
Whoa, slow down. Gloat about what?
Rayne's surprise sounded genuine enough, but that didn't change the facts. I just got off the phone with the editor at Archaeology today. You won, like always.
I did ask you not to include me in my team. My client would have sued me if anything had gotten out about their involvement. I know you don't rate what I do, but I take my client's privacy very seriously.
Chase noted Rayne's non-gender specific use of the pronoun, just as in Cyprus. Either her client was gender fluid, or more likely she was being clever enough not to reveal even the slightest detail about them. Whatever Chase thought of Rayne, her professional discretion had always been beyond compromise. It was a shame Chase wasn't able to say the same about her professional morality. That's probably because they're criminals and would end up in jail if you revealed who they were. Chase knew she was being inflammatory, but she was damn sore about her article, and Rayne was to blame for all of it.
Wow, that's very judgmental and completely untrue. Well, not completely.
There was a playfulness in Rayne's voice that almost made Chase smile. At least it wasn't a video call. Chase didn't want Rayne knowing she could still make her laugh. I'm mad at you. She hadn't intended to be so matter-of-fact about it, and it sounded childish. Rayne had a knack of getting her to say exactly what was on her mind without ever asking directly.
Saying it aloud is the first step to getting over it,
Rayne said, sounding like she was making no effort at all to control her amusement. I don't want to get over it, Rayne. This is my career, my profession. Editing you, the Tank Twins, and your Cleopatra descendant client out of the story is going to make it impossible to write. Chase paused. She wouldn't have a full scan if it hadn't been for Rayne's presence and actions. She softened slightly. Rayne could have gotten considerable kudos for her inclusion in Chase's article, had she been able to tell the full story. Maybe Rayne hadn't acted completely selfishly.
I'm sure that whatever you write will be perfect, Chase. You don't need me in it. You found Zenobia first, and it's possible that if it hadn't been for the ISIS patrol, which may or may not have occurred as a result of our presence, you would have gotten everything you needed and escaped undetected. Tell that story.
That was the closest Chase had ever come to receiving a compliment and a confession from Rayne, and she had enough sins to keep her saying Hail Marys for at least a year. What have you called for? I'm busy. She checked the time. I have a class in 5 minutes. It was an obvious lie, and she didn't care to analyse why she'd felt the need to fabricate a fantasy lecture. Rayne was on the other side of the country, and still she affected Chase in ways she didn't appreciate.
Aren't all your students on summer break?
Chase glanced across at the students still set beneath the tree. Some stayed back for extra instruction. What did you call me for?
Teacher's pets. Do they bring you shiny red apples? I'd bring you a shiny red apple.
And it'd probably be poisoned. What did you call me for, Rayne?
Ouch. But anyway, I called to invite you to dinner. I'm in Frisco for a meeting about the Golden Trinity. I wanted to talk to you about your article, to see if we could come up with some kind of compromise, but that's a moot point now. Still, dinner at the Vervita should be hard to turn down, no?
The Golden Trinity. Chase marvelled at the way Rayne dropped that into the conversation as casually as if she were talking about something as everyday as the fog over the Golden Gate Bridge. And the Vervita, perhaps the most exclusive and sought-after reservation in the city. It cost more to dine there than Chase made in a month. And the cherry on the cake? Rayne had wanted to talk about a compromise? It's not a moot point. I'd like to hear your thoughts on making the article hang together without a huge chunk of the truth included. Chase sounded more combative than she'd wanted to. Dinner at a fancy restaurant with an even fancier, perhaps the fanciest, woman was a rare treat, and maybe it would yield a positive spin on her article, which, until Rayne had called, was feeling very daunting.
How is it that you managed to make an acceptance sound like a rejection?
Chase could hear the amusement in Rayne's voice again. It wasn't easy to offend her, though Chase knew exactly how to smash that button if she wanted, and sometimes even when she didn't, like in Cyprus. I'm sorry, Chase said, adopting a formal accent. I would simply love to dine with you. What time were you thinking? The sound of Rayne's free laughter reminded Chase how much she used to love making Rayne giggle just to hear it.
How does 8 work for you, Madam Chase?
Perfect.
Shall I send my driver to pick you up?
Now it was Chase's turn to laugh. Rayne had a driver. Chase had a beat-up Chevy truck. And have you know where I live? I don't think so. I'll meet you there.
You think I don't already know where you live, Chase Stinsen.
Rayne hung up before Chase replied. She didn't know whether Rayne was messing with her or not. It was exactly how she felt Rayne liked her to be, constantly on her toes and unsure of herself. So why am I meeting her for dinner? Chase surveyed the restaurant as she deliberately trailed slightly behind. Miss Bossypants needn't have bothered leading the way. Chase saw Rayne way before she would have seen anyone else. No one stood out in any room quite like Rayne Marcellus. Christ, if the sun exploded tomorrow, Rayne could be its stand-in. She radiated an energy and presence that ensured she was the focus of the room for almost everyone, and even if they weren't looking at Rayne, you could bet your inheritance they were thinking about her. As it became clear that Chase was heading for Rayne's table, she felt the gaze of almost every woman-loving person in there on her. Chase was comfortable with how she looked, and she knew that she might as well have a label on her forehead or a comic bubble over her head proclaiming her sexuality. Short hair, androgynous, now with muscles, she was an easy spot, but damn it, she didn't care. She'd been proud of who she was for a long time, and no bigoted assholes ever made her feel ashamed of how she presented. She knew that straight guys would be thinking, there's no way she's meeting her for a date. Maybe they're adopted sisters or best friends. Beautiful people always have to have a regular-looking best friend.
Chase,
Rayne said and raised her glass.
You're looking very handsome tonight.
Chase touched her tie, a little self-conscious at Rayne's none-too-quiet greeting, though she appreciated the blatant way she announced her appreciation. Thanks. Accepting a compliment didn't come too easily. Rayne smiled the way she did when she knew she'd made Chase squirm and motioned to the seat opposite her.
Please, sit.
Chase didn't miss the way Rayne swept her gaze over her when she thought she wasn't looking. Or maybe she knew damn well Chase would see her and didn't care. Rayne had never held back her desire to bed Chase, but she had no wish to be part of Rayne's collection of conquests. Chase wasn't against one-night stands. They were about all she was prepared to commit to, but she couldn't bring herself to sleep with Rayne. Her complete self-interest and greed made her particularly unattractive, and Chase had learned to keep her physical attraction under control quite easily since her Florida betrayal. Chase ordered a sofa and settled into the plush leather seat. She began to wonder if it had been a good idea to meet her number one competitor, but she wanted to know about the Golden Trinity and Rayne's ideas on the rewrite of her article without her and the Tank Twins in it. All she had to do was stop glancing at Rayne's cleavage in the tight, low-cut dress she was wearing and concentrate on her words.
Have you eaten here before?
Rayne took a sip of wine that probably cost more for a glass than food for an entire African tribe for a week. She couldn't decide if Rayne was goading her or if it was a real question. She decided to let it slip, or it was going to be a painful night for both of them. I'm sure you won't be surprised to hear me say that I haven't. She reined in the temptation to compare her modest income to Rayne's ill-gotten gains, important especially given that Rayne was picking up the tab tonight.
Then you're in for a culinary treat. Chef Michaela's specialty is a sea bass dish to trample over hungry babies for. It's still your favourite?
If Rayne was picking up on Chase's ambivalence, she wasn't showing it. It was as if she'd rewound the clock, acting like they were still friends and colleagues remembering her favourite food. Where was the vaguely disguised animosity of the past few years? Had their brush with ISIS given Rayne some perspective on what was important in life? Was she trying to make up for what she'd done to Chase? But then there was the hungry baby metaphor that was still very much the regular Rayne. Chase had always secretly liked Rayne's politically incorrect and black humour, though she'd chastise her for it and feign offence publicly. Rayne had a sense of freedom Chase was still searching for in the caves and tombs she explored, but so far had come up short.
I'm tired of fighting, Chase. I don't expect you to forgive me for Florida, but I want to be done with the constant battling with you.
Chase frowned and shook her head. Is that why you hide the guerrilla girls, to keep the playing field level? Rayne flashed a femme fatale look, the kind that always got their victim into trouble, the look that would have Chase doing Rayne's bidding no matter the cost. Chase shook it off and waited for a response.
You know I hate to lose.
And that's it. Thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.